In the aftermath of every aviation tragedy, the world asks, why? Why did the plane crash? Why did the engine fail? Why did the pilot make that mistake? But in the professional aviation community, the old captains, the ones with gray hair and thousands of hours in their logbooks, ask a different question. They ask, how would I have flown that flight? Today, we step away from the theories of mechanical failure. We step away from the chaos of the crash site. We are going inside the mind of a veteran captain, a man with 26,000 hours of flight time, a man who has survived decades in an industry that unforgivingly punishes mistakes. Based on the latest update from aviation expert Glen, we are going to reconstruct the Greg Biffle flight not as it happened, but as it should have happened. You will learn the difference between a driver and a commander. You will learn why the flight didn't begin on the runway, but 3 days before. You will learn the brutal, selfish mindset required to stay alive when billionaires are screaming at you to go. This is not just a safety briefing. This is a masterclass in survival. Welcome to the Air Debrief. Today, we open the Professional's Playbook. Let's start with the timeline. Most amateur pilots, and even some professionals who have grown complacent, think the flight begins when they arrive at the airport, toss their bags in the back, and turn on the battery. That is the first mistake. And often, it is the fatal one. According to Glen's protocol, the flight begins 2 hours before takeoff. If the flight is on Sunday, the pilot is at the airport on Thursday. Why 3 days? Because machines do not like to sit, and hangars are not safe havens. They are active war zones of potential damage. Glen describes his routine. He goes to the plane days in advance. He isn't there to fly. He is there to interrogate the machine. He checks the battery. In these complex jets, if a line guy left a master switch on or a cabin light running, that battery is dead. If you find a dead battery 15 minutes before your billionaire boss arrives, you are in a panic. You are stressed. You are rushing to find a ground power unit. Your brain is already overloaded before you even start the engines. But if you find it 3 days early, it's a non-event. You charge it. You fix it. No stress. Glen reveals a specific tactic he uses. He disconnects the battery physically when the plane is parked for long periods. Why? Because he doesn't trust the line guys. He doesn't trust the switches. He ensures the heart of the airplane is sleeping, safe from drainage. This is called energy management, not of the aircraft, but of the pilot's own mental state. By solving problems on Thursday, he ensures that Sunday is boring. And in aviation, boring is safe. Now, fast forward to flight day. The plane is on the ramp. It has been fueled. It looks pristine. A typical pilot might do a quick walk around, a kick the tires, light the fires routine, and jump in. But a veteran knows that the ramp is where planes go to die. Glen tells a story, a chilling reminder of what he calls hangar rash, the fuel boy. A young kid driving a massive fuel truck. He backs up. He gets too close. Crunch. He clips the wingtip. Just a little bit. Maybe he cracked the navigation light. Maybe he dented the leading edge. He looks around. No one saw it. He drives away. The damage is subtle. From a distance, the plane looks perfect. But if you take that plane into the air, that small dent changes the aerodynamics. Or worse, that cracked light sparks a fire inside the wing where the fuel is stored. This is why the pre-flight walkaround is sacred. Glen doesn't just look, he touches. He runs his hand along the leading edge of the wing. He inspects the skin of the aircraft like a doctor inspecting a patient. He is looking for the fuel boy's secret. He is looking for the puddle of hydraulic fluid that wasn't there yesterday. He is checking the static wicks, those little antenna-like sticks on the trailing edge of the wing. Are they all there? Did one get snapped off? If he finds damage now, the flight is canceled. The owner might be angry. The meeting might be missed. But the pilot will be alive. In the Greg Biffle case, could a rushed pre-flight have missed something crucial? A latch door that wasn't fully secured? A piece of debris in the engine intake? We will never know. But we know what a pro would have done. He would have found it. Let's talk specifically about the hardware involved in the Greg Biffle mystery, the nose baggage door. There are rumors that this door popped open in flight, creating massive drag or hitting the tail. How does a professional pilot ensure this never happens? It's not enough to just slam it shut and turn the key. Glen shares a specific technique, a life hack for the Citation jet. It involves the annunciator panel, the grid of warning lights in the cockpit. When the nose door is open, a light glows. Door unlocked. Most pilots close the door, lock it, and then assume the light went out. Glen doesn't assume. He verifies. He stands outside. He tells his co-pilot to watch that specific light. He slowly closes the latches. Click, click. He watches for the exact millisecond the light extinguishes. But he doesn't stop there. Once the light is out, he physically pulls on the door handles. He tries to rip it open. He checks the witness mark's visual indicators painted on the latches that show alignment. He wants mechanical confirmation and electrical confirmation. Why such paranoia over a baggage door? Because at 400 knots, if that door opens, it acts like a giant air brake. It creates turbulent airflow that can stall the tail or smash into the windshield. For a pro, a closed door isn't closed until it has been proven closed by 2 different laws of physics. But the hardest part of being a professional pilot isn't checking the door. It isn't flying the plane. It is managing the VIP. The owner, the boss, the billionaire. He is tapping his foot. He has a meeting in Dallas in 2 hours. He is paying your salary. He asks, "Why are we waiting? Let's go." This is the moment that kills more pilots than engine failures. It's called external pressure. Glen's advice is brutal and simple. Be selfish. He says, "I don't care about the owner. I don't care about his meeting. I don't care if he fires me. I care about getting home to my family. I care about my life." This is the killer mindset. A professional pilot must be a mercenary for safety. He builds a psychological wall between the cockpit and the cabin. Once that cockpit door closes, the owner is just cargo, self-loading freight. The pilot is the dictator of the vessel. If the weather is bad, we don't fly. If the fuel boy dented the wing, we don't fly. If the battery is weak, we don't fly. Amateurs try to please the boss. They say, "I think I can make it work." Professionals say, "No." In the Greg Biffle case, we don't know if there was pressure. But we know that in general aviation, the fear of disappointing the owner is a leading cause of death. Glen's rule: better to be fired and alive than employed and dead. Finally, let's look at the in-flight execution. Despite all the preparation, sometimes the machine just breaks. What is the professional's playbook for an engine failure in a Citation jet? It is not what you see in Hollywood movies. There is no wrestling with the controls. There is no screaming. It is quiet. It is methodical. Step 1. Automation. Glen emphasizes use the autopilot. If the plane is flyable, let the computer fly it. The computer doesn't panic. The computer doesn't have adrenaline shaking its hands. Engage heading hold. Engage altitude hold. Stabilize the platform. By letting the autopilot fly, the pilot frees up his brain to think, to analyze, to troubleshoot. Step 2. Nearest airport. Not the destination, not the airport where the owner's car is waiting, the nearest piece of concrete. If you have one engine, you are in a state of emergency. Your goal is to get on the ground now. In the Greg Biffle flight, there is debate about whether they tried to continue or return. A pro doesn't hesitate. He declares Mayday. He demands the nearest runway. He gets the bird down. Step 3. The checklist. Do not memorize it. Read it. Even if you've flown 26,000 hours, you pull out the card. You read the bold print. You verify the switch before you flip it, because in the heat of the moment, your memory will lie to you. The checklist tells the truth. There is one final rule in the playbook that separates the masters from the statistics, the discipline of the go-around. We often see pilots force a bad landing. They are coming in too high. They are too fast. The runway is rushing up to meet them, but their ego whispers, "I can save this. I can force it down." That is the amateur mindset. That is how you run off the end of a runway. Glen's philosophy is the opposite. For a professional, the default decision is always a go-around. The landing is the exception. The rule is absolute. If you are not fully configured, on speed, on the center line, and chemically relaxed by 500 feet, you leave. You power up. You retract the gear. You try again. It might hurt your ego. The owner in the back might groan because he's late for dinner. But a go-around is not a failure. It is a maneuver of strength. It is the ultimate proof that you are in command of the machine, not the other way around, and the job doesn't end when the engines stop. While the amateur pilot is already in the Uber heading to the hotel, the professional is back at the wing. This is the post-flight walkaround. Why inspect a plane you just finished flying? Because things break during flight. Did you lose a static wick in that cloud layer? Did you take a bird strike on the tail that you didn't feel? Is there oil dripping from the cowl now that the system is hot? You need to know now, not 3 days later when you are rushing for the next flight. By finding the issue tonight, you buy yourself time to fix it tomorrow. This cyclical discipline, pre-flight, in-flight, post-flight, creates a continuous loop of safety. It leaves zero room for surprises. And in aviation, surprises are what kill you. Flying a high-performance jet is not a hobby. It is a discipline. It requires the paranoia to check a battery 3 days in advance. It requires the humility to use a checklist. And it requires the arrogance to say no to a billionaire. Greg Biffle was a legend in NASCAR, a man who knew speed and machines better than almost anyone. The tragedy of his crash serves as a somber lesson for all of us. Whether you are flying a Cessna 172 or a Citation jet, the laws of physics are the same. The risks are the same. Take a page from the professional's playbook. Be methodic, be selfish, be prepared. Because when the door closes and the wheels leave the ground, the only thing that matters is your skill and your preparation. Fly safe, check your battery, and always verify the latch. I'm your host, and this is the Air Debrief.